Fed decision just moments away, and the Fed, well, they're not expected to hike rates. So is that stopping you from saving? A new study reveals that the median and working American family only has $5,000 saved for retirement. Financial expert Dan Celia says the Fed is hurting savers. Dan, I don't think a lot of people know that. State the case.
Well, Charles, I think, the Fed has been hurting savers since Alan Greenspan started this low interest rate environment. Ben Bernanke came along and put it on steroids. And we've got what we've got today. We've got people that have their life savings that they were dependent upon to use to supplement their income. And you've got that whole group of people that unfortunately are dipping into principal in order to do that. And then you have savers that are nearing retirement that are forced to get into the markets and take risk when maybe it's not the right time to be taking risk, but they have no choice. They're trying to get a little return on their money in this low interest rate environment.
Isn't, though, ultimately, even though it may not be advertised by the Federal Reserve, isn't that their goal? To make saving unattractive, to make people take risk, to pour money into the economy, to spark what in their mind would be the virtuous cycle.
Well, you're hitting the nail on the head, Charles, and that's exactly been my opinion for some time. I think this is very intentional. And what it has done, as a matter of fact, I have to say it's worked in the sense that it is propped up the markets, though it may be a false positive in a sense. It has propped up the markets in forcing billions and billions of dollars coming into the market that otherwise may be in CDs and other cash equivalent fixed income kinds of things that can earn a little bit of interest rate. Dan, so I think it's
right. I'm sorry, but Dan, having said that, though, I've had people reach out to me, and I've had to say, listen, a 5% CD is not a birthright. Are we getting to a place where people are living longer, they're healthier at an older age, where we have to rethink this retirement thing, particularly with Social Security? Very few have confidence that it will be there.
Well, I think you're right. I mean, we have to rethink it in the sense that there is going to be a portion of everybody's portfolio in today's environment that is going to have to be a bit more aggressive. But what I find, and I'm just amazed at how many millions of Americans that could do perfectly okay on, a 4% from their entire portfolio, and that would be fine to supplement their income. And people are forced, it's going back to these people being forced to take risk in what is a very volatile market. It's been volatile for many years now, and forced to take some risk on their principal. Some obviously can afford it,
sure,
but some, I think that it is a very difficult position for them to be in.
And the bottom line is rates aren't going to, even when they start hiking them, they're not going to go up that much overnight. So what do you tell people who are unfortunately in this position? What should they do? I mean, they say to you, Dan, I've got to take the risk.
Well, I get those questions every day, on the radio program. And people are asking, what can I do? And unfortunately, you've got to try to minimize it, but you've got to look at things like utility stocks and preferred stocks, if you can find some decent ones that are going to pay a little bit of a higher rate of return.
Right.
You've got to take a little risk in those areas. And frankly, you're right, Charles. They're going to be in a low interest rate environment for a long time. Remember, if the Fed accomplishes getting rates somewhat normalized,
Dan,
it's going to add billions to that debt.
The good news, though, is utilities have outperformed. Not only are you getting those fat dividends, but they've outperformed this year. Maybe that'll keep going, too. Dan, really appreciate your expertise. Thanks a lot.
Charles, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, we're going to hear from the Fed in just about 10 minutes. So how will the market react? It's going to be wild and crazy, so you want to stick around to Fox Business.